getting answers for Western Massachusetts. This is Western Mass News.
And our big snowstorm dropped up to a foot of snow across the area. Conditions will improve as we go through the morning, but now it's time to dig out. Full forecast straight ahead.
And I'm first warning meteorologist Lena Jakowski. Outside in the elements, we've got team coverage for you all morning long on current conditions and cleanup efforts underway.
And as the cleanup effort continues, I'm Sabrina Riley live at the DPW with a closer look at the efforts from the Springfield Department.
And today's weather might have canceled COVID-19 testing here in Springfield, but vaccinations are still happening. I'm Kaylee Pugliese with the details straight ahead.
And this storm taking its toll up and down the Northeast. How other areas are faring this morning after some had more than a foot of snow dumped on them.
Plus, a heroic rescue made by Connecticut firefighters during Monday's storm. The incredible water rescue all caught on camera straight ahead.
All right, a first morning weather alert for you, and we'll begin with a live look outside on this Tuesday morning. As you see, visibility at least up compared to what we were dealing with even at this time yesterday morning. Hopefully you made it through this nor'easter A-OK, everybody. We appreciate you joining us here on Western Mass News. I'm Taylor Jacobs.
And I'm Jordan McCool. We have full team coverage for you all morning long. 2 meteorologists and 2 live reporters. Let's kick things off with meteorologist Dan Brown. And Dan, how's it looking right now? No more snow.
Well, certainly improvement compared to yesterday. Boy, did it come down hard yesterday afternoon, though, and last night. At times it was coming down over an inch per hour, and a lot of locations coming in with double-digit snowfall amounts. But looking at our radar here, keep in mind, the blue, right, is the snow. The gray is the clouds, radar and satellite combined. All we have left now in the valley is lots of leftover clouds. For the most part, the snow has come to an end. We're not totally done today. I mean, we could have a snow shower here or there, and there might be a little bit of freezing drizzle, but in reality, conditions are going to be much better than they have been. But, of course, now we have to dig out, check out all the snow that we picked up. Anywhere between about 10 to 16 inches of snowfall, about 11 inches in Hamden. Go to Port and East Long Meadow, about a foot. Same deal in Chicopee, Amherst, Northampton, about 10 or 11 inches of snowfall. Greenfield coming in right around a foot as well. Now, the National Weather Service has put a winter weather advisory for the valley until 4 o'clock this afternoon. But in reality, I think conditions are going to be improving. We're getting some help from Mother Nature. It's not bitterly cold, so roads that do get treated, it'll be a little bit better here, a little bit easier. We should get some melting. Lots of clouds, though. Temperatures right around freezing or a little above as you go through the day today. But let's check on conditions outside right now. Lena Jankowski's been out there yesterday, now this morning as well. Good morning again, Lena.
Good morning, Dan. As you were mentioning, Mother Nature helping us out a little bit. The timeline of this storm sped up, and with that, the colder temperatures meant that the ratios of the snow were lighter and fluffier in nature. So not only is that helping us then, it's helping us now when it comes to cleanup efforts. Hopefully you're sleeping in today. You're nice and warm in your bed. But for those of you who are getting a head start and heading out the door, roughly about a 12-to-1 ratio for this snow here. So it's going to be easier to move, but for those who got a foot or more, you may want to do it, taking breaks a little bit at a time, especially if you're using a shovel. If you don't have any type of help from a snowblower or from a plow, and you've got a lot of it to move, you might want to do it in chunks. Again, the temperatures are mild. Even factoring in that wind chill, we're still above where we should be for this time of year. So that's certainly the good news, at least. Live in Springfield for Western Mass News, first warning meteorologist Lena Jakowski. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, Lena, thank you for that. Go get warm, man. Our weather team coverage continues here, though, for you with a look at how local departments of public works are managing road conditions.
Western Mass News reporter Sabrina Riley joins us live from the Springfield DPW with more. Sabrina?
Well, Taylor and Jordan, after flakes have been falling for really over 24 hours, even though they have stopped now, it has been a very long and extended storm for those crews that are out on the roadways trying to clear things up. DPW Director Chris Signoli telling Western Mass News it's been an all-hands-on-deck storm. That being said, there are still a few plows. They are still down a few plow drivers this season.
We have 20 plows of our own, and then we'll have about 115 or so of private contractors. And as I've said in the past, historically, we have about 150. So this year we're a little short on plows.
Signoli says people moving their cars off the road really helps crews better plow the streets. Unfortunately, if they've come across a road where the majority of cars are parked illegally and not following the bans, they have to skip it until police can take it and tow the vehicles. That, of course, makes it difficult for them to keep side streets safe for you at home. Coming up in the next half hour, we will have more on these parking bans and what fines you might face for breaking them. But for now, live in Springfield, Sabrina Riley, Western Mass News.
All right, Sabrina, thank you for that. And Western Mass is faring rather well in terms of power outages compared to at least our friends out east. Statewide, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency reporting over 10,000 customers are without power. Actually, right now it's about 58, almost 5,900. Most of them, though, are out east. That's in the Norfolk and Suffolk County areas. As you see in our area, very few areas without power.
Well, this winter weather impacting pretty much the entire Northeast, not just New England.
Yeah, Western Mass News correspondent John Lawrence has a look at how other states fared.
The first nor'easter of 2021 is bringing boatloads of snow to states from the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast.
Let me say this unequivocally, this is a big one.
It's a big one indeed. Forecasters say New York City could see up to 2 feet of snow.
It's a little challenging. The gentleman had to hold me because I was like I was lifting off the ground.
Nearly 65 million people in 12 states are under a winter watch or warning this week. A state of emergency was declared ahead of the storm in New Jersey.
You must be out. Please, God, be careful. But if you don't need to be out, do not go out. And if you're out right now and you don't need to be out, safely find your way home, lock the door, sit on the couch, and stay home until further notice.
But some still have to trudge out in the snow to get to work.
And it's crazy out here. Everyone can't stay at home. I wish I could stay home.
But others are bundling up and making the most of the blustery conditions.
We love it. We're from upstate New York, so this is like normal for us. I feel like we love a snowstorm. We're prepared, although we have snow tires.
Yeah, just getting a nice walk. I work from home, so every once in a while I take these breaks.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
All right, let's take you over the border in Connecticut, where plow drivers were doing their best to keep up with the snowfall in Torrington because they can't lock their doors and stay inside. Residents there report manageable road conditions. The community was under a winter warning through yesterday. Much of the area expected to get over a foot of snow from the storm.
And take a look at this shocking footage from Stamford, Connecticut. Crews racing to rescue 2 people trapped in a truck that is submerged in water. You can see crews in the water and on the fire truck trying to reach those people. This video posted by the city's fire department shows crews responding to the scene just after 2 p.m. Monday to find the 4-door truck floating in the water about 40 feet from shore. Both occupants were rescued and taken to a nearby hospital, and no word yet on their injuries or what led to the truck ending up in the water.
Yikes. All right, everybody, we want to see what you're waking up to here on this Tuesday morning, a snowy one we've been dealing with. So send us the pictures of your yards, your streets. Now, maybe even when the sun rises might be better. Send them to Share It on our Western Mass News app or email shareit@westernmassnews.com. All right, well, despite this nor'easter, this mass COVID vaccine site over at the Eastfield Mall will still be operating, and seniors 75 and older have been braving the snow to go get the vaccine.
And Western Mass News reporter Kaylee Pugliese joins us live from the Eastfield Mall location with more on this. Kaylee?
Well, Taylor and Jordan, while COVID-19 testing has been canceled due to the weather today, vaccines and vaccination appointments are still happening. Now, the company that's running this site does have other options for people who don't feel safe traveling in this weather today. Now, Western Mass News spoke with Dean Schultes, the Vice President of Field Operations for Curative, the company that's running vaccinations here at the Eastfield Mall, and he says operations are going on as usual from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, the amount of people braving the storm to get their vaccine hasn't slowed down too much Monday, with more than 1,000 people coming through. But if you're worried about driving over there during bad weather, he says there's no need to call and cancel because they're extending their hours Thursday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
If it looks like we're not able to get the volume through, then we'll extend our hours even more days. Our last option is we'll put more staff and try and open up some more tables to meet that flow through.
And for anyone who missed their appointment yesterday or today due to the weather, you can bring your ID and original confirmation email to one of the new extended days. And the company will also honor missed appointments during normal hours next week, though you could face a longer wait time, especially if you go earlier in the day. Now, we'll have more coming up on what happens to the vaccines for those who don't make the trip out today, so be sure to stay tuned for that coming up in the next half hour. But for now, live in Springfield, Kaylee Pugliese for Western Mass News.
All right, thanks, Kaylee. Well, coming up on Western Mass News, more COVID-19 variants are popping up across the nation. Details on the new spread.
Plus, the popular trading app Robinhood says it has raised the money necessary to pay its clearinghouse. Now, how it managed to come up with $3 billion in less than 2 weeks. And sending off to break everyone with a look at your roadways. And here we are in Chicopee, right by exit 51 on the Pike. And look at that. You are at least getting blacktop, but you may still want to give yourself a few extra minutes this morning. The roads are wet. And here we are now in Hatfield, where it looks like visibility a little less, at least compared to, or worse compared to Chicopee. And some slowdowns on that travel map to your left. All right, we'll be back in a few. That was brought to you by Country Nissan.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the first morning weather alert. Of course, we're digging out from the snow that we got yesterday, and boy, did it come down hard for a while, yesterday afternoon into last night. Now, waking up to, well, a lot of spots that have double-digit snow on the ground. You know what? One thing we have going for us right now is look at the temperature, 32 degrees. We haven't felt it this mild in so long. So we are getting a tiny bit of help from Mother Nature in terms of the fact that the snow that has fallen, if you treat a road at 32 degrees, you'll get some of that melting a little bit quicker. So that's some good news here. But look at this. The wind is still whipping here. We get a wind at 21 miles per hour, so it does feel like it's 20 degrees. The steady snow has more or less, the accumulating snow has come to an end across western Mass. And I think we're pretty much done. I mean, we might get a snow shower or two. We have to be careful in a few spots with temperatures below freezing. There might be just a tiny bit of freezing drizzle. And we're still going to deal with our upper level disturbance, or the actual area of low pressure across the area, keeping clouds around throughout the day today, and maybe just a snow shower or two. 32, though, right now in Springfield, 34 down in Hartford, 28 Worcester, Boston, 34. Right along the shoreline, they missed it. They got all rain along the shoreline, but of course here in western Mass, we picked up anywhere between 10 to 16 inches of snowfall. Impressive snow totals. Lena's going to get to them in just a moment, but check out the wind right now, 21 miles per hour, and a winter weather advisory is in effect through the day today. That's a step down for that winter storm warning, and it's because of the simple fact that, of course, we have all the snow on the ground now, still a couple of snow showers around, and a few pockets of freezing drizzle, so that will lead, of course, to tricky travel. But in reality, I think road conditions are going to improve as the day goes on. Nothing to maybe some coatings going forward in the valley, and maybe a coating to an inch across the hill towns in the higher terrain. But of course, the damage is done with all that snow that is on the ground. And Lena is outside right now in the parking lot. She's been measuring and kind of adding up all these snow totals across the area, Lena.
Yeah, Dan, you know, as we mentioned yesterday, Worcester was going to be one of the jackpot locations, and sure enough it was. You know, taking a look, Ashburnham, 18.4 inches, but some of us here in western Mass weren't that far off. East Hawley coming in at 17 inches, we mentioned earlier. Middlefield at 16 inches, and then things began to trail off. Westfield at 12, Huntington 11.5, and Chicopee and Feeding Hills coming in at 10 inches. We'll continue updating those all morning long for you, so keep on sending those in. I'll have another look at Berkshire County and some of the other locations that were jackpot totals in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Also, coming up in the next half hour, I'll let you know who in Massachusetts got almost close to hurricane force winds. But for now, live in Springfield, first warning meteorologist Lena Jakowski for Western Mass News. Back to you guys over in the studio.
All right, Lena, you know, of course, with all the snow and, of course, with the bitter cold leading up to it, this is a good time to, like, kind of do the countdown to spring, right? 46 days to go, but I got to tell you, it looks as though this week is going to stay fairly active. We might have another system moving in on Friday. It doesn't look major, but then maybe a more important storm again along about Sunday. But one good thing about this storm system is as it's moving away, sometimes we get these powerful storms and then it whips in the Arctic air behind it. That's not really the case. Today we're going to get into the mid-30s, so we are going to get some help from Mother Nature with some melting, so that's some good news there. And again, as you can see across western Mass, the steady stuff has moved out. Maybe a snow shower or two as we go through the day today, but it's more kind of a blustery, cloudy day today. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Tomorrow we'll repeat the process. We're again dealing with a lot of clouds, maybe a snow shower or two, maybe a break of sun here and there, and temperatures tomorrow in the low to mid-30s. But high temperatures today, I mean, we're 32 now, so we'll be hovering right about where we are in the low to mid-30s. The hill towns will be stuck in the 20s. Lots of clouds, breezy, a snow shower, maybe just a little bit of freezing drizzle in a couple of spots, so keep that in mind as well. Of course, we're digging out this morning. You can see no bitter cold behind this system with temperatures generally in the 30s. In fact, by Thursday with some sunshine, that's going to be the pick of the week, 35 to 40. And then that system moves through on Friday, which could bring some rain and snow mixed. Doesn't look major. It'll probably have minor impacts. And then colder Saturday. That might set the stage for perhaps a more important storm Sunday or Sunday into Monday. All right, that's a look at your forecast. We'll be back in a few minutes. Jordan Taylor, to you.
Thank you, Dan. Well, the trading app Robinhood has apparently raised the money it needs to pay billions of dollars to pay it all off. The popular platform announced it raised $2.4 billion from investors. Now, that's on top of the $1 billion it obtained in capital last week. Robinhood needed to raise $3 billion after its clearinghouse asked it to put up that amount, although that money was later lowered to $1.4 billion. Brokerages like Robinhood make a deposit at a clearinghouse whenever investors investors buy stocks. The app has faced increased financial pressure since blocking users from buying stock in GameStop and AMC.
Well, it's been more than a month since the United Kingdom identified a new, more contagious coronavirus variant. Now there are multiple variants scientists are keeping an eye on, and the CDC says at least 32 states are reporting cases of these variants. 470 cases have now been confirmed nationwide, and health officials are now reminding people the importance of getting vaccinated, wearing masks, and staying socially distant.
First, wear a mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Second, please avoid crowds and poorly ventilated areas. Third, now is not the time to travel.
And while the new variants seem more contagious, there is no evidence it is more deadly. The CDC has been ramping up its process to identify additional cases of the virus.
All right, so to go, everybody, here on Western Mass News, about 20 after the hour, a brave Massachusetts surfer heading out into choppy waves during the storm.
And as we head into the break, let's take another look at your drive times this morning. And right now we're heading from Springfield to the airport, to Bradley Airport. If you have an early flight you're trying to catch, maybe you're picking somebody up, definitely check those times to make sure it's still on time. But if you are heading out there, give yourself a few extra minutes. It'll take you over 20 minutes to get there. And that traffic report was brought to you by Country Nissan. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Time right now, it's 5:21 on a Tuesday morning, February 2nd, Groundhog Day today. Of course, coming off the snowstorm from yesterday and unofficially about out at Westover. Thinking we've got about 10 inches from the reports in Chicopee. So that's the case. That means our totals now up to 34 inches of snowfall. And a normal to date would be about 27. So, of course, with the snow we got yesterday and last night, that has bumped us ahead of normal year to date. Normal season, we end up with about 49 inches, but we are well on our way now with the snow that we picked up. And we still have perhaps a snow shower this morning, but the steady stuff has certainly moved out. So we're seeing improving weather conditions. Temperatures are near freezing now. We'll kind of hang out there, mid-30s in the valley, upper 20s across the hill towns. It'll be breezy today as well. We still do have a winter weather advisory in effect through the day today because it could be some pockets of freezing drizzle, maybe a snow shower, but we're not expecting much more in terms of accumulation. All right, we'll be back with another look at the forecast coming up in just a few minutes from now. Jordan Taylor, to you.
All right, thanks, Dan. And when we come back, how the weather took its toll on Massachusetts' newest mass vaccination site. A trip to Fenway next.
And we got to take a break, so here's a few cameras to show you your commute. Starting off in Windsor Locks, and we got another one for you, I believe, closer to home in West Springfield. Take care. That was brought to you by Country Nissan. Welcome back, everybody. Take a look at this. Over in Nain, one brave kite surfer geared up and took to the waves out in the middle of the storm. Look at him go. You can see him here riding through the rough waves. He's clearly suited up as well for the cold water. Along the coast, the wind whipped up the waves. There were concerns as well about the larger waves mixing with high tide overnight and damaging the seacoast.
And over in Worcester, the winter storm created sloppy road conditions. Residents say the hills in the city were difficult to navigate, and even for front-end loaders trying to clear the road. Those plow drivers report spinning wheels. A few accidents were also reported throughout the city, and at last check, Worcester received over 14 inches of snow.
Well, in Boston, the massive storm hit on the same day as Fenway's opening day at the vaccination site there. Yesterday, the site did open an hour earlier to accommodate for the snow. Fenway Park currently able to administer 500 vaccines a day, but eventually will be ramping up, we're told, to 1,000, at least for the eligible state residents.
We're able to reach a large proportion of the population and help get as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible. These locations, like Fenway Park, are just so important to the local communities, and it becomes an experience along with the important part of getting yourself actually vaccinated.
Now, the site is expected to stay open through April until baseball season starts. However, the Red Sox president says if the city asks, they're happy to work around their baseball schedule.
And coming up on Western Mass News, it is a busy morning at the local DPWs with cleanup efforts underway after the storm. I'm Sabrina Riley with the details coming up.
And COVID-19 vaccines are still happening today despite the weather. And you might be wondering what happens to those vaccines for those who don't show up to their appointments. I'm Kaylee Puglisi, and I'll have those answers coming up.
And you're taking a live look outside right now. Meteorologist Dan Brown and Lena Jakowski are live tracking this storm as it moves further away from our area. How the weather looks after this major storm coming up next.